Hey, I'm John at Prehired, and we're doing another Prehired six-figure success story. So today we have James in Chattanooga, who has over 15 years of extensive history and experience with restaurants, and he just got hired with Jump Crew. So James, thank you for your time today. I hope everything's going well. How's everything so far?
Oh, it's incredible. I'm going to be honest with you. It's probably one of the greatest experiences of my life, both the job and the entire journey through Prehired, man.
Awesome. So I know we're short on time here, so I will be mindful of that, but I just want to ask you a few questions here. So if you don't mind me asking, what jobs were you doing prior to Prehired?
So before Prehired, like you said, I had 15 years of restaurant experience. I was, from management all the way up to general management. And that was all pre-COVID. I kind of worked my way typically up. I'd start in the middle or above and just kind of go to the top. That was my struggle, so to speak. You hit that ceiling and it's over, right?
Exactly. And you mentioned struggle, right? What was that biggest struggle for you before you found Prehired?
Before Prehired, are we talking pre or post COVID, John?
We could do both.
Okay, so pre-hired or pre-hired and pre-COVID, a lot of pre's in here, man. So
Indeed.
pre all of that, it was the again, like we talked about there just a second ago, the glass ceiling. You hit that point where the general manager, there's
Hmm.
really nowhere to go. You've hit that income cap. You've hit really you're done. When you're there, that's your home from now on, and get comfortable because you're going to be here a while, right? And
Yeah,
then on the flip side of that, post COVID, so to speak, it was just we shut down, everything shut down, the world shut down, right?
yeah.
And it was just there was nothing out there for me. It's just we searched and searched and searched, and it was there was no market for what I was looking for and what I was offering at that time.
Okay. Yeah, and yeah, that makes sense. So you mentioned search as well, right? So what did you try to do to solve those struggles prior to pre-hired?
So I was doing some eBay selling. We were going to flea markets, buying and selling things.
Hmm.
You got to do what you got to do to pay the bills, right?
Of course.
And so, I was driving for DoorDash. I was driving for Uber Eats. I was driving for Grubhub, all these local companies, using my car, putting hundreds of miles on it a week. But, again, like you said, it paid that bill. We had to fix that struggle, right?
Exactly. Gotta make ends meet, like you said. So then what were your biggest hesitations about signing up for pre-hired?
So, I mean, pre-hired came to me in the form of a targeted ad. Um, you got to thank somebody's technology for that, right? It was a click through, and then I put my email address in, kind of got some information, and just from the jump to me, I'll be honest, John, it really felt scammy to me.
And for what it's worth, I can understand, right? Because of how it's coming to not only talk about like what you can achieve, but then also like the success and like the sheer amount of people. It's kind of like it's almost too good to be true, right?
I would completely agree. I mean, that's exactly right. You'll make 40 to 60K base, 80,000
Mm,
OTE, and you're like, man, I wasn't even making that as a GM, right?
exactly. And then you're saying like some guy doesn't have any sales experience can learn this and make it happen. So again, I appreciate you sharing that with me. So then ultimately, right, what helped you overcome those hesitations then? Because I'm sure there was something that made you
There
say
was.
like,
So, I mean, in me, there was that desire, right? I wanted to succeed. So, when you have that passion at that point, you have to kind of take that leap, right?
right.
So, after talking with everybody in pre-hired, I think we talked to Andrew and many others kind
Hmm.
of through this process. And I mean, you guys are as genuine and as sincere as they come. It seems like the more information that I got, the more research I did. I'm thinking, man, maybe this is the real deal. And it was just as I got a little further in, you have to do like an admissions test, so to speak, which
Hmm.
I was like, man, this is a lot for a scam. This feels a little weird, right? So
That
I
light
did
bulb,
that.
that
Yeah, and my head's like, they're doing a lot, man. So I finally, I did the admissions. They're like, you could possibly join us. Let's talk. And just every step of the way, it was like, we might be a good fit. We might be a good fit. And I'm thinking, I really hope I get in this, And it's just by this time, I'm like, I hope this is going to happen. This sounds great. And so that's where we were. That's what kind of that belief slowly started building. It was a little bit of me researching, but it was mostly pre-hired giving me that reassurance.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up because, again, we don't take just anyone. We have thousands upon thousands of applicants per month, and we only do take a certain amount because for that said reason, because there are a bunch of steps involved to just alleviate those fears. Because you're probably wondering, like, this is a very well elaborate scam. Maybe it's not a scam.
Right. Yeah, and
So
that, like you said, that light bulb certainly clicked. I'm like, man, if this is a scam, this is probably the best one I've ever seen. I'm not even going to lie.
maybe I might want to pay just to learn what's going on, how to do
Yeah, I want to see what's going on.
it. Alrighty. So then when you did finally get into the program, right? Remind me, how long did it take you?
So I believe the coursework, I said it would be done in 8. I did it in 6. I'm a bit of an overachiever. I apologize none for that whatsoever. The job search process, I think it took 7 weeks to be honest.
Hmm.
In the eighth week, I had an actual bona fide job offer on the table.
Sure. So it's 8 weeks in, 8 weeks out.
Yep.
Very
Most.
nice.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Alrighty. So then, what did you enjoy most about our program? Because I'm sure there was many things during those 8 weeks.
So I'll use a generalized term to describe it, but there's so much that it goes into that term, and that's the mentoring. That's the one-on-one time. That's the feedback, the weekly. That's your during your job search process, like almost like hand holding, if you will. It's the entire process. But I feel like through all of that, it was just constant mentoring. It wasn't just one thing. It was everything. It was the complete package.
So then, I'm gonna challenge you on that. So almost like in a sentence, would you say that because of like the mentoring, that was the real difference that you enjoyed the most from the whole thing?
It was. I think it was taking again that mentoring and utilizing all of the knowledge that it is pre-hired.
Hmm.
So if I had any kind of problem, you had an answer. If you didn't have an answer, you had an answer soon or tomorrow. Every time, not just you, everyone in the company. It's okay to say I don't have that answer, but give me a minute, I will get you that answer.
I'm glad, and I'm really glad that you brought that up because that is the one thing that we truly focus on because we never want to leave you in that feeling of doubt, right? So I'm glad that you found that the most helpful. So now I am kind of curious about Jump Crew, right? So you said that you did get Jump Crew, but where is it located?
Jump Crew actually has a physical office location in Nashville, Tennessee.
Hmm.
They're expanding nationwide. They even have a new office in Florence, Kentucky.
Okay,
They're not a one-off anymore. They've got 5 or 6 offices. There's one in New York City now. They're growing very, very quickly.
that's amazing. So then I know with Jump Crew, right? There are many things about it. So what did you like about the job so far?
So Jump Crew itself is a full funnel sales mechanism, if you will. They take on other companies and they offer their services and their employees to help other companies establish their marketing and sales, SEO, things of that nature, right?
Hmm.
So the specific job that I was hired for is a company who is an online streaming service provider. As a streamer and a gamer myself, that just spoke volumes to me. And they were only hiring 2 people. So to me, it was almost like a competition. Hey, man, this has got to be me. And so at the end of the day, I went through 7 interviews by the time we were done with the entire process. And I actually
7.
tied the company record for the most amount of interviews someone had in the company. Yeah.
That's amazing. And would you say that because of just not only your interest but your passion, but like the mentoring and what you learn?
I You said it best. Literally, that you took the words essentially out of my mouth. That's exactly what it was, John.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Alrighty, so I know we're about to wrap up here, and I don't want to take up too much of your time here. Who would you recommend our program to, based on your experience?
Based on my experience,
Hmm.
a guy with 15 years restaurants with very little sales at the beginning of that, anybody. At the end of the day, if I can do it, you can absolutely do it. There is no question in my mind whatsoever.
Awesome. Well, I know we're just about to wrap up here. Again, James, thank you for your time. I know you're going to kill it out there at Jump Crew. And for everything else, man, if you ever need help, feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much, John. You have been a blessing. I appreciate you and everyone at Prehired.